Make sure your phones are on airplane. Welcome everybody, this is the Munchiezzz program. I'm your host for the day, Devin Button, and today we're going to go ahead and make some triple S ramen. Now, what that stands for is savory, sweet, and salty? It's ramen noodles, they're salty. So, what we got here is we got our good old, I like using the picante chicken ramen because it adds a little spice to that already super savory ramen noodle flavor you get from the chicken packet. I personally like Munchiezzz because I think that their seasoning tastes a lot better than any other ramen made by, in America. On top of that, I got some garlic parmesan. It's a breading seasoning packets. This is something that I've made multiple times, pretty much any semester. I kind of have found a way to really enjoy it. And then, show the label. Tyson chicken is the name of the game. So what I'm going to start off with is I'm just going to get the ramen noodles into the microwave to get them to cook. So what I found is a lot easier is to break your ramen noodles up. There's several different ways you can do this. I like to just take my fingers and my thumb and you just smash up the ramen noodles. I got a nice big old bowl here of water. Just break the noodles up. You go ahead and you try not to get them everywhere, right? You take the season packet out, cholesterol in a bag, pour them in there. You want to be real careful not to tear the bag when you're breaking the ramen up because the last thing you want to do is get little ramen noodle bits all over your dorm room floor. Trust me, I don't know if you've ever stepped on a ramen noodle bit barefoot in your dorm, but it's not pleasant to any extent. Making 3 packets here. Me personally, I'm a big guy, so I can consume about 2 and be pretty full. I'm making 3 just because we got some hungry fellas here in the studio that are want a little something. So we got the ramen noodles in the bowl, which is good. Now, again, I'm a big guy. I got high blood pressure, so I don't mess around with all 3 packets. I only do, for like 3 ramen noodle packets, I like to do like 1.5 seasoned packets. Again, this is high blood pressure in a bag. So you get your 1 in there, right? You get your half, which, there you go, that's enough. Don't want to give anybody a stroke or anything. Throw that one off to the side. Now what I'm gonna do is this is garlic parmesan chicken wing seasoning. You'd be amazed the multiple uses for this kind of stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and tear that open, and I'm just gonna pour a little bit of this in here. And then this is the breadcrumb that's going to go on the chicken in a little bit here. Take a fork, mix that around, get a good even flow on your broth here. It's already smelling good, it's not even cooked yet. Then we go ahead and pop this thing in the microwave. Hopefully it cooperates with us today. Pop it in there. Now this is a decent amount of water and a decent amount of ramen noodles. So really, usually it says about, 1.5 to 3 minutes on the packaging. When you're making this many ramen noodle soups, I throw it in for 5 minutes to get the well cooked that I like. So I go ahead and throw that in there, hopefully. Huzzah, it worked, first time, look at that. While we're waiting for that to cook, Conveniently, with these little seasoned packets for your wings, they come with these little shaker bags, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my Tyson chicken, show the label, right? In a pouch, chicken in a pouch. It's the craziest concept, but trust me, it tastes good. Now what I wanna do is I wanna take all the chicken in this pouch, juices included, and dump it. That's a wonderful visual right there, right? That definitely does not look like cat food. Put that in there, garbage. Just keep a tidy kitchen, guys. Definitely keep a tidy kitchen. So we got that in there. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take our bread crumb here from the wonderful packet. Gonna tear this bad boy open. Just enough to get a considerable amount of the crumb in there. Make a huge mess while you're doing it. That's how you know you're cooking good food, when you make a huge mess, right? And then I like to use a little Slap Your Mama chili powder. I got the original blend. It's the medium heat, nothing too spicy. Adds just enough flavor. I like to put a little bit of that in there, you know, spice things up. Now what I do is I leave enough room for it to shake, and then take this little, if it cooperates, take this little rubber band, action. There, and then you just kind of manipulate the chicken within your hands. Don't ever be afraid to play with your food. You know, you can throw it like a baseball. You really want to coat the chicken as evenly as possible. That's kind of the prerogative of this situation, right? Get a nice coating on there. Seems good enough to me. Boom, take off the rubber band that took way too long to put on and 5 seconds to take off. Take that, I'm gonna put this in a bowl. We got about 2 minutes left on the ramen here, but that's okay, that's okay. You take your now seasoned and coated chicken, you take your, disposable bag there, you throw that away, put that off to the side. I got a fork here, you put this over here, put this here, these can just sit. And essentially, I like to use just a wee bit of black pepper, nothing too crazy. I just like throwing it on the top. Adds a lot of color, adds a little bit of flavor. You already got the Slap Your Mamas in there, but man, that sounds great to say out loud, right? Slap your mama. Don't do that. Mix it around a little bit. It adds a little bit of color. The ramen noodles are looking about done. We still got about a minute on those. However, let's go ahead and transition to the overall outcome of this. So when the ramen's done cooking, I'm going to attempt, and I use that word loosely, attempt to fry chicken in a microwave. Now it's a touch and go process. It could take a few minutes, it could take several minutes. It depends on your microwave. This big old beast we got here cooks relatively quickly, so I'm gonna have to keep good attention to that and make sure that, A, I don't burn anything, and B, you're not gonna really get a lot of crispiness with a microwave. However, you can try, right? It's a weird combination. It takes a lot of time and practice, and there's been plenty of times, I've still eaten it, but there's been plenty of times where I've messed it up and then gone back and did it differently the next time to make it really work out well. We got about 10 seconds on this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and pop it. Microwave's nice and warm. We're just gonna do this. Ooh, ramen noodles, right? We're gonna put the ramen, we're just gonna put it over here. It's extremely hot. I'm gonna take my chicken, I'm gonna toss it around just a little bit more in the bowl, and then essentially put it in the microwave. I'm gonna pop it in here for, make sure you slam the door, 2 minutes, just to kick it off. Ideally, you're gonna be listening for a popping noise. That's the moisture in the chicken coming out. That's kind of why a lot of things, you can't really fry much in a microwave because it extracts the moisture. And when you're trying to fry something to make it crispy, moisture is the last thing you want. That's why they say never to put frozen food in hot oil because you're not gonna like the outcome of that. The ramen smells really good. This is where they need to make the smell-o-vision technology, right? You guys can smell it. I would tilt this to get a look at it, but there's a lot of water in here, and I'm not trying to make any more of a mess than I already have. This is gonna sound crazy, but I only have forks, so I'm gonna be using your good old-fashioned college red Solo cup to extract the noodles from the bowl. That's gonna be a fascinating process. Got some lovely stuff here to put the noodles in, but you can start to hear the chicken crackle a little bit, but at the same time, probably gonna take a little bit more. We're gonna go ahead and check it out here, see how it's going. Yep. All right, we're gonna do one more minute on that, and then a lot of the moisture in the chicken will be extracted, and it adds to the coating. It lets the coating have a little bit of a crust to it. While we're doing that, I'm going to take my good old bowl, and we're gonna take my bowl and we're gonna use that. We're gonna get the noodles out here. This is gonna be wonderful. Wait till you guys see this. We're just gonna take the cup. Preferably make sure your cup is clean. I know this cup is clean because we just took it out of the packaging, and I'd like to think, coming from the factory, a red Solo cup is relatively clean, but if you're using a regular cup at home, make sure you wash it, maybe put it in the dishwasher if you have one. Run it for a cycle, make sure it's nice and clean. You know, COVID times, we don't like germs. Nobody likes germs. So, just gonna take the cup. We're gonna ideally get a reasonably sized portion of the noodles, and I want to take, look at that. I want to just pour a considerable amount of the broth out, because this is more of a dry noodle. You still want some moisture in there just for coating wise, right? Take just a little more, God damn, made a mess. Just a little bit more. Pour that out. There, just boom, look at that. A little bit of broth, a little bit of chicken, little noodles. Chicken's next. I can smell it, it smells delicious. Take your chicken out of the microwave here, and boy is that screaming hot, and that smells delicious. Slam that thing shut. You're done with that. Now you're done with that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna clean up just a wee bit. Clean station. Remember that, always have a clean station. Now, chicken, I'm gonna take my fork, which is right here. Got your chicken. Preferably it's nice little coating there. It's got most of the moisture out, which means it's got that little bit of that crisp to it. It's got that, kind of trying to get rid of the chewiness that you get from like processed chicken, right? You wanna just mix it around. Make sure the seasoning's in there. It's got a nice brown to it already, which that's perfect. Now what I'm gonna do is I take a little bit of this. Take your chicken, and you just put it on the top. A little bit on the top there, right? Get a nice little coating of that. Keep that in there. Now to top things off, I got a few different ingredients here. I'm gonna It's got a green lid. You guys can't even see it. Look at that. Got your Parmesan and Romano cheese. It's a good blend. Got some minced onion. Now what I want to do is I want to just take the minced onion and just put it around everything. A little bit on the chicken, not too much. And then you take your Romano Parmesan, put that on the top. Cheese gives an umami flavor to pretty much everything. And when you're thinking about your taste buds and when it comes to something that's sweet, savory, salty, you name it, taste buds are really what you're trying. You're trying to get every little bit of flavor out of it so that you get that full experience on your palate. And so the cheese adds to the umami, plus with the chicken and the protein in that, you get the salt from the ramen packets. There's your savory, right? The sweetness comes from that garlic parm. Believe it or not, you wouldn't think garlic and cheese has a sweetness to it, but when you get to these processed, like store-bought seasons, they put sugar in everything. So like the sugar gives it that sweetness, and you got the salty in there. And then, of course, I'm not a huge garnish person. I'm definitely not using cilantro. I think cilantro is the bane of all cooking, but got a little chive action. Just, you gotta just flick a little, just flick a little on there. And then, season that up, black pepper, color, bada bing, bada boom. You have your Triple S ramen, and it's spilt everywhere. That's wonderful. Listen, lessen your broth so you don't make messes like I just did. But you have your Triple S ramen here. It's ramen noodles, chicken in a pouch, cheese, seasoning, and everything flavor. So thank you again for watching. This has been the Munchiezzz right here in TCTV's studio. I've been your host, Devin Button. It's been a pleasure to show you guys something that I make on a weekly basis usually. And if you make it at home, I hope you enjoy. Of course, thank you all for being here. Thank you.
1, 2, we did it.